Hello, everyone. I am Dr. K. This is a short video just to kind of give you an overview of Canvas and the syllabus and to show you where everything is. So this is your orientation to the course. So this is the home page to the course. This is what you will view or see as a student. So I'm gonna actually go in student view. So this is what your home page is going to look like. So it's gonna have course information, syllabus for the course, and course schedule, video lectures, and assignments. And to get to this page, you just need to click home. This is my email address for contacting me, but I prefer that you contact me through Canvas. And my office hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12 to 1 p.m. via Zoom. This is the Zoom link that you'll need to click on. But just send me a quick message if you plan to join the office hours, just to make sure the Zoom is turned on, because if nobody shows up for a long time, sometimes it just logs me out. So first, let's go to the syllabus. So when you click the link, you're going to come to this document that's going to show you the syllabus. Again, it mentions my office hours, some important dates, drop dates with a W, without a W, and then final exam due date. This course is completely online. All your lectures are posted or will be posted online, and they're going to be due every Sunday by midnight. So I give you a whole week to do the assignments, but it doesn't mean you should wait until Sunday midnight to do them. I would say get started on them early. You could just maybe do one each day or something like that. Lecture videos are broken down into 10 to 15-minute video. And then you might have like 4 videos per chapter if they're broken down into short videos. And you can watch maybe, 1 or 2 a day, and turn them in by Sunday midnight. You have the course description and course information here. So under course information, so this course has both lecture and the lab, and they're both online. So your lectures are posted on Canvas, but your labs are also through Canvas, but we'll be using McGraw-Hill Connect and then Labster software through Canvas. So Labster is already integrated in Canvas. Those labs are, you just need to click on them and they should work. But for McGraw-Hill Connect, you will have to register. So I'll go over that as well. We're going to use the Essentials textbook, but when you buy the lab material from McGraw-Hill Connect, so you're going to have to click on this link and register for this section for the lab. So when you click on this link, you're going to register. Let's see. This is going to take me to the link, and this is our section. And the registration opens on January 1st, 2025. And you should be able to register for this section. Once you do that, you go back on Canvas, and when you click on the lab that is through McGraw-Hill Connect, it should work. I also want to let you know that when you buy the subscription for this section, for the labs, it does come with the electronic copy of the textbook, so you don't have to buy that separately. So you can just use the one that comes with the lab section. We'll also be using Respondus for the exams. You just need to click this link to download Respondus on your computer, or you can use the plugin with Chrome or add-on, and you should be able to take the exams. But again, if you have any problems, let me know. I will give you a practice quiz before, just to make sure Respondus is working. I'm gonna let you review the course expectations on your own. These are the learning outcomes for the course. This is the grading policy. So your lecture videos are worth 30%. So lecture videos are through Play Pause It. When you're gonna play the lecture video, there'll be questions coming up every now and then. You're gonna have to answer them, and you have 2 attempts on each video. I'll have to double check that. You might have more than 2, but I'll double check that. Lecture exams, you have 30%. Again, they are worth as much as your lecture video, so make sure you're participating. And you have 2 attempts on each exam as well. Lab work participation is 30%. So just make sure you're doing the labs on time. And your homework is 10%, which is also through McGraw-Hill Connect. I will show you all that on Canvas when we finish going over the syllabus. All your grades are going to be posted on Canvas. This is the grading scale. And here's the late policy. So it is highly recommended that you spend most of your time watching lecture videos and you stay on track, because if you fall behind, it's going to get overwhelming, and it's going to be difficult for you to catch up. So all the modules will open Fridays for the following week material, and the completion of the module will be required by Sunday of each week, or next week, or 9 days later. So that's for the lecture videos, and then you have your homework for each chapter from your textbook, which you have unlimited attempts on. And then you have your midterm or your exams. I want you to make sure you guys read the exam information. Again, you'll be using Respondus. Exams are closed book, closed notes. You have 2 attempts on each exam. And for the makeup, there are only a couple reasons that you can make up the exam. So those are already scheduled through Canvas. Make sure you guys take them on time, or set the day or some time apart to take the exams. They are going to be opening on a certain day, which is on the schedule. I'll show you that in a minute. And then closing by end of that day. So just throughout the day, find some time to take the exams. This is an example of the late schedule. So if you turn something in, you'll get full credit. If it's 1 day late, you get 90% of the points possible. 2 days late, 80%, 3 days, 70%, 4 days, 60%. Again, this applies to your lecture videos, homework, and labs. This doesn't apply to your exams. Exams need to be taken when they're scheduled. Here is more information about Lockdown Browser. What is expected when you're taking the exam. You need to clear your desk, remain at your computer the whole time when you're taking the exam. Avoid wearing any caps, and make sure you have a desk and you're not, laying in bed and taking the exam, or you don't have your laptop in your lap. And you'll need a camera, you'll need a webcam, and you'll need to take the exam in a well-lit room, avoid backlighting, so I should be able to see your face. If you need to drop the course, you need to do that on your own. You're responsible for dropping, otherwise it's going to show up as F on your transcript if you just stop participating. But if you miss more than 1 week's worth of lectures during the semester, and I notice that sometimes I will drop you. And the same thing for the labs. If you miss more than 2 weeks labs during the semester, you will receive a failing grade in the course. So you can review the syllabus, rest of it on your own. I just wanted to give you the highlights of the syllabus, and let me know if you have any questions. So going back on the home page, you have something called course schedule. When you click that, it's going to give you each week. This is your first week, you're going to do 1 chapter. So I try putting 1 chapter per week for most of the weeks. And then also put in the lab topics for that week. Your first exam is in week 4. It's on a Monday. It's going to cover chapter 1 to 3. So I try breaking down the exams in smaller chunks as well. So all your exams are scheduled for Mondays. Actually, 3 of them. Your 4th exam is scheduled for a Wednesday, and 5th exam is also scheduled for a Wednesday. There's no cumulative final for the course. So you just have, chapter 1 to 3 for exam 1, 4 to 6 for exam 2, 7 to 9 for exam 3. You also have a spring break there. And then for exam 4, you have chapter 10 and 11 from the textbook. And then I also made some modules for chromosomes, mutations, and cancers. Is going to cover that. And then last exam is going to cover chapter 12 to 14. So let's go back on Canvas. So then you go to your modules. So this is where you have your modules. And you're going to notice it's not going to open next thing unless you complete this first tab. When you click on the tab, it's going to bring you here. And there are multiple tabs under this. So it's going to give you course overview, tell you a little bit about the class, attendance, grading guidelines, and rest of it. And once you go through all the tabs, you can click next. And again, it's gonna give you a little bit more information about the textbook, the lockdown responders, browser, and for the lab, we're gonna use Labster and McGraw-Hill Connect. And again, on this side, you can see McGraw-Hill Connect as well here. And then you go into your chapters. So this is your chapter 1 and 2 module. It's gonna have 5 tabs. First tab gives you the overview of the chapter or what you're supposed to do. So you're supposed to watch the pre-recorded lecture video for chapter 1, do the homework for chapter 1. Study guides are available if you want to do them. They're optional though. Here under lecture content, you have chapter 1, part 1. Again, this might be a 10-minute video, another 10-minute video. So I try breaking down the chapter into very small chunks so it's easier for you guys to watch them. And then you have links for chapter 2. Here's your study guide for chapter 1. Here's your study guide for chapter 2. You don't have to do these, but they are very helpful for the exams. If you do decide to do them, then I can give you some extra credit for the study guides. And then I put some extra videos in case you're a visual person or some of the topics that might be, a little bit difficult to understand. And then under assignments, you're going to have chapter 1 homework, your lecture video links again, chapter 2 homework. So that's what's, due. And then I'll go on modules again. So on modules, you have, your module 1 that has chapter 1 to 3. Then you have your exam. When you go on the exam information, it's going to tell you what's covered on the exam. So it's going to say chapter 1 through 3, how much time you have. And it's also going to give you the chapters that are covered here. And then it's going to give you some Kahoots that I made. You can practice these. It has some practice questions. I also made review videos for each chapter. So you can watch these. I don't think these are optional. These might be already embedded into your lecture videos. Here, if you want to do the study guides and submit those here, you can gain some extra points. And again, under assignments, you have your first exam, chapter 1 to 3, and your study guide, which is optional. You can upload it here once you click the link. One more thing I want to show you is the calendar. So it's so you can see your assignments under to-do list. But if you go on view course calendar, this is very helpful. I'm gonna go in January. So you're going to notice everything is due on Sunday midnight. So Sunday midnight, let's see. So it's gonna show you when everything is due. So I would say keep checking the calendar. This is also due Sunday midnight. Most of the stuff is due Sunday midnight, and your exams are scheduled on Mondays. So use this calendar. This chapter, it says due Saturday, but it can be moved to the Sunday midnight as well. So I'll just, I can do that later. But this is where you can see when the assignments are due. So that's the overview of Canvas. Let me show you real quick the labs. So once you register, you should have access to the labs. So when you click McGraw-Hill Connect, you can say begin by registering and joining the class with Connect. And it should be able to show you your progress on the labs as well. And so if you go under assignments, this is where the assignments will appear, and you can say show by date. And that means it's gonna show by due date. And then, for example, here's a lab. So actually none of them are open right now, so I'm gonna have to leave student view and see if I can show you. Oh, for Labster, you will have to use Google Chrome. It's not gonna work with Safari. So under labs, you have, for example, your PCR lab. And that is through Connect. So all you're gonna have to do is click launch, and it's gonna take you to the lab. Of course, after you register for the section. And then when you go to Labster labs, so maybe the scientific method through Labster, it's gonna, if you're using Safari, I'm using Safari right now, so it's gonna say unsupported browser. But if I don't use Safari, I use Chrome, then the lab's going to work. So I just opened the same tab using Chrome, and now the lab, you can see the lab here. It kind of tells you how much time is needed, and you can complete by just clicking play here, or you can open it in a new tab. And you can start the lab by clicking play. So those are your labs through Labster and McGraw-Hill Connect. But that was the overview of Canvas. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm happy to answer. And I'll be posting announcements every now and then under announcements. So I'm gonna sign off now.